Hey guys, it's Meg. What's up? What's poppin'? Welcome to the podcast. Is pasta really from Italy? Do French fries come from France? Are Swedish meatballs from Sweden? Let's talk about some food origins. And I honestly got this idea from a TikTok, and I wish I could find the TikTok to tell you who said it and did it, but I can't. And I'm so sorry. It's just not there. I don't know if they deleted it. I don't know how far back I saw it. But the source I'm using for this is amazingfoodanddrink.com. This article came out October 29th of 2024, and it is called The Surprising Origins of the World's 16 Most Popular Foods We Know Today. So let's start with number 1, samosa. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Samosa. I don't think I've ever had one of these. But this is a popular food in Indian cuisine, golden fried pastry stuffed with savory fillings. But it's not from India. It's actually from Central Asia. They introduced this food to Indian cuisine in the 19th century. Number 2, French fries. Everybody thinks French fries come from France. I'm going to be honest. I thought French fries came from France. Actually, there was this story. So there's this standardized testing you have to take in Massachusetts called MCAS. I don't know what MCAS stands for, and I really don't care anymore what MCAS stands for because it was awful. And there was 3 years in a row where you read a story about this guy making French fries, and he was like a chef. No, it was potato chips. That's what it was. He used French fries to create potato chips, so potato chips came from America? I need editing Meg to clarify, but yeah, that was the story we had every year in a row. Hey, what's up? It's editing Meg, and it was potato chips I was thinking of, and they do actually come from America, specifically New York. And the story goes, a customer was complaining that his fries were too thick, and the chef got annoyed by how many times the customer kept sending back his fries that he cut them up super thin and fried them, and that's how we got potato chips. But French fries are not from France, before we skirt anymore. They're actually from Belgium, Germany. Which, did you know? Fun fact. One of the dominant languages in Belgium is French. I didn't know that. I thought they spoke only German. But they speak French, which some people believe that's where French fries came from. And then U.S. American soldiers brought French fries to America during World War I. Number 3, hamburgers. Which, let me tell you, a lot of these food has some controversy of where their origins came from. This is one of them, because American fast food is filled with hamburgers. But some say, and this is probably more true, that hamburgers came from Hamburg, Germany. Another thing you're going to notice is a lot of these foods, America is like, oh, we created it, but they didn't. But there's actually a funny twist at the end of this podcast episode. Number 4, cheesecake is actually not from New York City, even though they claim that they are, quote unquote, home to the famous cheesecake. Cheesecake actually comes from Greece. The ancient Greeks were the very first to create an early version of the cheesecake. Number 5, coffee, which before we talk about coffee, we're going to skirt. Did I write this down? No. So Ed and Meg needs to come in because we actually did a whole episode on coffee and the history and where it came from. The coffee episode was from season 5, episode 10, if you want to go listen to that one. But they said in this article that trending coffee beverages nowadays is credited to Italy. But coffee actually comes from Ethiopia, but also Yemen were the first to create coffee from the beans. Number 6, donuts. But it is spelled Doughnuts, not Donuts. Donuts originally came from Greece. They then traveled from Greece to the Netherlands. From there, Dutch settlers brought them to America, where they abbreviated the name, so it was no longer Doughnuts. It just became Donuts. And then America ran with it, and there's so many different types of donuts. Number 7, fish and chips is actually not an English meal, even though they often call fries chips. It actually originates from Portugal, and it was the 15th century, and it was used as an affordable meal during the Depression. So it was like a poor person's meal. But English soldiers liked the meal so much that they took it back to their hometown. Number 8, Scotch eggs. have a reputation of being English. Some people even believe that they are from Scotland, but both of those are wrong. They actually come from India. And there's a theory that an English soldier took the recipe home in the 19th century, and that's why it became popular in Yorkshire. Number 9, pasta. This is another one that has some controversy because people say that it's actually not from Italy, but they don't know where it originates from. Because some say it comes from China because noodles are an Asian cuisine staple. Others say that Marco Polo brought pasta to Italy, even though there's no evidence he did this. Others say that, I don't think this is correct. The thing says Arabs, but I don't think that's politically correct. But somebody, we'll use that, were the ones to bring pasta to Italy in the 13th century, tracing its origins back to ancient Egypt and Greece. Number 10, chicken tikka masala. Does not come from South Asia, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, or Bangladesh, technically. It actually comes from Scotland. And the story goes that there was a Bangladesh chef living in Glasgow in the 70s, and he created the creamy tomato sauce and added it to chicken tikka, attempting to please the customer. So technically, it's a Bangladesh recipe because the chef who made it was from there, but at the time, he was living in Scotland, so Scotland took credit for it. Number 11, ice cream. Italy is supposedly the home of a gelato, but ice cream is actually originally from Mongolia, yet some claim it's from China. Another controversial one, but apparently it did not start in Italy. Italy just adapted it and made a run with it. Number 12, croissants are not from France. I know every time people say croissant, they do it with a really bad French accent, but they're not French. They're actually from Austria. They were originally known as Kipterl. I definitely pronounced that wrong. It's a dough with a crescent shape and a crispy texture. And originally, it tasted like vanilla and was ate during Christmas. But France took this and put a little spin to it and turned it into a puff pastry that was more buttery and savory. Number 13, hot dogs are not from America, even though I feel like often when people think of America, think of hamburgers and hot dogs. They're actually originally from Germany, specifically Frankfurt. And they were known as Dutch hound sausage during the 15th century, and they traveled to the US in the 17th century. Number 14, churros is actually not from Spain. They're not a Spanish food. Their origins come from China. China had fried dough or donut sticks that were salty. Spanish chefs took this idea but turned them into sweet. Number 15, Swedish meatballs. Everyone thinks they're from Sweden, especially because of the famous store IKEA, which is a Sweden-based company, who is famously known for selling Swedish meatballs. But they actually come from Turkey. And it is said during the 18th century, King Charles XII brought them to Sweden and turned them into pork-based, since pork isn't considered halal meat in Turkey. Halal? I am butchering things so bad this episode. And I didn't look up what they were made before, but I'm going to assume either chicken or turkey, like a poultry. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Ed and Meg can come in with that. So I tried looking this up, and I couldn't really find what they were made of before pork, but I think it was just beef. And number 16, this is the irony in all of it, but let's actually do a little drum roll, please. Number 16. Fajitas. This food was actually created in the US. This is an American-made food, but we don't take credit for it, even though we take credit for everything else. But that seems to be a common trait here. But fajitas were created in Texas, and specifically in Rio Grande Valley in the late 30s. In the early 40s, Mexican ranch workers, and I quote, cowboys, took the recipe home where it became popular. Years later, Texas and Mexico joined forces and created a Tex-Mex cuisine, which then starts controversy on fajita's origins. But what about you guys? Did you know these fun facts? I didn't. I really thought Swedish meatballs were from Sweden, and I thought that pasta was from Italy and French fries were from France. That's all mind-blowing to me. What about you? Did you know about this? Did you not know about this? Do you think this is cool? Do you think this is fun? Either way, the food's good. It's all that matters. So, the next time that you're eating one of these meals, just know they might not be where you originally thought they would be, but they'll still taste good, and they're probably not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Hey Guys, It's Meg. You can follow Hey Guys, It's Meg _podcast on Instagram for updates and good times. Come back next Monday, I can't believe I'm about to say this, for the season 10 finale. That is so sad. We have gone through a whole season. I don't even know how we managed that. But next week's episode 13, is going to be the season finale, where, I'm going to be honest, I'm stuck between two different theories, thoughts, ideas. I might go to Instagram for a poll, but by the time you hear this episode, I've already done the poll, which is why you should go follow me, Hey Guys, It's Meg _podcast. I actually didn't do a poll this time because when I was doing the research and recording for that episode, it was right when the election happened in the beginning of November, and I just didn't think it was the right time or place to bring up a poll with the country being in the state that it was in. But you should still go follow for future polls and future ideas, because I do fun things like this. So next week's episode is either going to be on the red string theory, because I've been wanting to do that for so long, or synchronicity, because we feel like we brought that up a lot this season. But make sure you follow Hey Guys, It's Meg _podcast on Instagram for updates and good times, and come back next week for one of those two podcast episodes. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace out, Girl Scouts.